Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's episode of Hey Sister.
You are so loud that you're muting yourself.
I'm sorry. I'm so loud. I'm muting myself. Well,
Hey, sister. I am so excited to be back.
right. Yes, we are glad to have you back. Our sister is back in these United States.
Yeah.
And, honey, we got girl. Why the people been peopling since you've been gone?
I guess y'all didn't take a break in my honor.
Baby, they didn't take a break. There was no pause. There was nothing. No time for rest, relaxation, or reflection. Even though we supposed to be in the season, child. Listen. Hmm. Folks been folksing out here. Well, we want to thank y'all for tuning in tonight and being live with us. So, hey, sister, make sure that you like, follow, share, and subscribe. Let folks know, hey, please tell them subscribe. Go to the YouTube channel, go to YouTube, hit subscribe, and hit notifications. So you'll know whenever we go live, you'll be right here so that you can join the conversation in the comments. And then if you can't watch us live, be sure to watch it in the replay and let folks know. Hey sister, hey sister, how you doing?
Hey.
Yes, yes, hey girl, what's going
Hey.
on?
Hey.
Yes, indeed. Let me tell y'all something. These folks out here is tripping. So before we dive in, sister, do you want to tell folks about where you been, what you been up to? Just a little snippet about
Y-
where you been, world traveler.
yes. So I went to Taiwan for about 12 days or so. And it was an interesting experience to say the least. You know, so here's what I will say. The number one thing I learned about myself is that I am capable of traveling alone. I just probably don't want to travel alone.
All right.
I think that there are, you know, solo trips are great when you want to be solo.
Yeah, because
You
everything
know,
we can do, we don't need to do. How
right,
about that?
right.
Okay. All
So
right.
when you want to be on a solo trip, maybe rest, relaxation, disconnecting, then absolutely I would encourage solo trips. And depending on where you are in your life, you pick a location and go somewhere that feels like it will connect with your spirit. I was there for work, and
Mm.
it was, like I said, while I was there with my coworkers, I feel like I had one experience, but once my coworkers left ahead of me and I had to stay another few days alone, it was a different experience. And
Mm-hmm.
being a tall black woman in
Because you're so
a
strong, girl. You tall and strong. It's an inside joke. We'll have to tell you about that later.
I'm tall and strong and big. And so yeah, so being there alone, it didn't feel as comforting.
Mm,
It felt like
mm.
I literally was like I've never felt so visible and so invisible at the same time.
Ooh,
So,
child. Now that's a bar. Y'all need drop that in the comments, production assistant, because sometimes we're walking around here right now, visible and feeling invisible at the same time. And if you, but you know, your sister told you, be loud and proud and let your presence be known, honey, because you are free. How about that?
well, I will say this. I don't want it to sound like I don't, again, if I had been in Taiwan with family, friends, loved ones, I would have probably had a wonderful experience because there was a lot of things that I would have enjoyed doing with people that I love and care about and feel protected around. But when you're alone by yourself, there were moments where it was like, yeah, if something happens to me, I really have nobody else here to help me out. So I did get to go to Taipei 101, and that is one of the largest buildings in the United States, in the world. And so now that I've been to the Burj Khalifa in Dubai as well as Taipei 101, I've been to two of the tallest buildings in the world. And I will say that as a former civil engineer, I have respect for for those experiences from an engineering perspective. So that there were good moments. There were good moments, but I am happy to be back. And I don't usually say that when I do international travel.
Well, you're happy to be back. We are glad to have you back because, honey, like I said, the people been people and folks been folks, and we got a whole bunch of stuff to talk about.
All right, let's
And
get
so
into it.
let's get into it. So, first, we're going to talk about Florida man and woman. I don't know if y'all have heard this story, but the so I just started watching. There's a show on Showtime called Fellow Travelers, and it is about two gay men in the 50s under the Joseph McCarthy, Roy Cohn era when they were investigating communists and deviants and all of this stuff. And when I watched it, I was like, and Roy Cohn was a gay man. Also, oh, he said he never said he was gay, although he died of AIDS in the 80s. Um, and also, that FBI director that they had that building was named after. Um, these folks was going hard in the paint
Hmm.
to destroy people's lives because they really were projecting.
Right,
Well,
because J. Edgar Hoover was black.
he was also other things too.
Oh yes, he also.
He might have been a contestant on RuPaul's Drag Race. I'm just saying.
That's true. Okay,
Okay.
yes.
But let me go
Projecting.
to Florida man and Florida woman and put this in context. So here we go. Christian Ziegler and Bridget Ziegler. Bridget Ziegler is a co-founder of Moms for Liberty. Y'all know they've been all around this country in your school boards. The reason why y'all have all these banned books and foolishness happening in your schools right now. Her husband, Christian, is the chair of the Republican Party here in the state of Florida. Now, they allegedly, because things are unfolding, who had a three-way relationship with another woman, and this woman now is accusing Christian of rape.
The husband,
The husband,
because they were
because he a
supposed
Christian.
to.
How
No,
about
no,
that?
but
Christian and Christian.
she's accusing him because they were supposed to have this three-way sexual relationship or sexual experience, and the wife said that she could not attend. And so she said she was calling it off because the wife wasn't going to be able to attend, and he still showed up.
This is what I'm going to say.
I just wanted to put it in proper context.
Put it in proper context. We dropped the link in the comments. Y'all read the story. They got a bunch of stories out there. Now, I guess this past weekend, the Florida Republican Party has censored him. They have not removed him from his post. But this is what I want to say. And that's why it tied back to the J. Edgar Hoovers of the world and the Joseph McCarthys of the world, Roy Cohns of the world, Rudy Giuliani's of the world, who we will talk about in a moment, literally will destroy your life with laws, policy, legislation, saying that they're doing it in the name of Christianity and they doing it in the name of something that's righteous, but it's really just to cover up all their misdeeds and misgivings. And I'm gonna ask y'all, stop letting these people punk you. And I wish the Christians would take Christ back, because these people out here who claiming Christ, they ain't Christian. They own something else.
Their name is just Christian.
His name is just Christian, but he sure ain't no Christian behavior. I mean, just again, by the policies that they support and endorse that really impact people like that. Jesus ain't had nothing to do with none of that foolishness. That's all I know for sure and for facts. But here we go again. Florida man and woman cutting up. I don't know, sister. What say you?
Well, here's what I'll say. So, looking at that article that we dropped in the comments, what I find to be interesting is that it says in a closed door meeting in Orlando, the Florida Republican Party reduced Ziegler, the Christian Ziegler's salary to $1 annually. Ziegler will no longer be able to hire or fire staff, speak on behalf of the Florida GOP, or raise funds for the party, though he retains his title as chairman. I find that interesting. Like, so you're stripping him of all of these things, but you're allowing him to retain the title. What is the purpose of doing that? And further, I believe they said, oh, the leadership voted 39-0, which the leadership which voted 39-0 decided not to conduct a special investigation into Ziegler. Now, typically, if you feel very strongly about his
They didn't want to look because they knew what they was gonna find. How about that?
that's what it feels like to me. So I find that very interesting. Why didn't you just strip him and remove him of his? And DeSantis, that little crazy one, Gates up there, and then Rick Scott, they're all calling for his resignation, but he, I guess, as of today, has not resigned. So I just find it interesting that you're basically saying he's guilty, but we'll let you retain the title for what?
We ain't gonna look because then we have culpable deniability because we're not gonna investigate. And then you got your wife over here who has endorsed and they pass all these policies. So I know y'all people have heard about the Don't Say Gay bill, and they're restricting like what teachers can eat, the preferred pronoun bill. Now they trying to move that. You can't, all of this stuff that these people are supporting and trying to do and trying to diminish and dehumanize other people, when y'all need to keep your house in order and stop it. Just
Well,
stop
it's very
the
interesting
hypocrisy is
the hypocrisy
rich.
of all of it, but it's very interesting
Make
that
me want to choke. It's so rich. Ugh.
that she's going after, it's not just
Books.
her, but she's going after books. But it's this, like you said, it's projection. It's not only because I've heard how many times have people accuse those in the Democratic Party of having this pedophilia behavior, these being sexually deviant and all of these things. And it's like, obviously you all have some things happening. And look, and I hate to make it about Republican or Democrat. I really truly do hate to make it about that, because at the end of the day, folks try throughout
They
the
all trash, but go ahead. Mhm.
right. But it just is very interesting that the very laws, like you said, that people are seeking to put on the books to restrict the liberties and freedoms of others is mad projection. Like, lady, I'm sorry, if you're sleeping with a woman, whether your husband is present or not, it sounds like you're gay. But you're doing all of this.
She might be by try. She might be paying, girl. She might love it all. It don't matter. But the bottom line
It
is,
matters because
don't
you're
try to
trying to.
prevent.
That's why I'm saying it matters. It matters because now you're trying to suppress somebody else for doing the same stuff that you're obviously doing.
Mm-hmm. Girl, let me tell
And
you.
you're trying to
something.
suppress their rights, not rights for who they sleeping with, their rights to move around. And if there's anything else that I learned from my trip in Taiwan is I don't like people policing my movement.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're trying to police people's ability to go to school and get a proper education. You're trying to police their ability to get certain health care.
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to police people's ability to declare themselves, identify how they choose to identify. You're trying to police a person's ability to go to the library and check out a book. You know, I know we're gonna talk about The Color Purple. The Color Purple is banned.
It sure is, girl.
But you over here having threesomes, you and your husband.
And who knows what else?
And who knows what that? And that's why they don't want the investigation. Because
that's why they don't want the investigation. Because if you look, you might find, as they say, seek and ye shall find. But listen. How that be go? Dum dum dum. Ow, baby. Hunter Biden told that man, y'all looking for me? Here I go. Here I go. Hey, here I go. Baby, listen, if Mystical wasn't a fool, I'd have played your song. But you know, we done talked about that. We done set Mystical to the side because he be clowning. Okay. Baby. So these people is investigating Hunter Biden, and they have been investigating Hunter Biden for 5 years straight now. So Comer, the chair, him and Jim Jordan, they were like, he needs to come and testify. They've subpoenaed him. And that man said, I am here and I'm ready to testify in public, but I will not testify for you behind closed doors because you have lied on me. You have impugned my credibility. You've tried to weaponize my addiction. You tried to accuse my father of things that he didn't do. You are trying to drive me back to my addiction because of the pressure y'all trying to put on me. I lied and I didn't pay them taxes, but when I got clean, I paid my taxes. My daddy ain't had nothing to do with this, but I will not. He said, y'all even showed my naked picture. You even put my naked picture out there on the internet. And what I'm telling you is I'm here right now. You won't talk to me? Come talk to me. That was my interpretation of what Hunter said.
No, but you hit it very well. You did it very well. I was gonna say
he wasn't as hyped up, but like if he would have had that Mystical playing, he should have did like Deion said in this and said, play my theme music, and he should have came out there on that. Y'all looking for me? Here I go.
I laughed at Plies, of course. You know, you and I look at Plies often and laugh at him. And talking about Joe Biden needs to stop falling down. He needs to be like Hunter.
He needs to stand up with Hunter.
This is
say no.
Right. And listen, here's what I will say about Hunter has had his issues. Yes, he has. And you know, I know y'all parents out there, y'all are so fond of acting like y'all don't have favorite children, but it's clear that Bo was Joe Biden's favorite. Okay,
well, we don't know. I mean, his daughter died as a child, and
well, yes.
I mean, he might have loved. It might have been his daughter. Could have been his favorite. We don't know.
You're right.
Joe has lost 2 of his 3 children. This is the last one that he. And if you think about it, and his wife, Hunter lost a mother. Jill is not his mother.
Right.
Jill has been his mother because she married his father.
Right.
He lost his mother, his sister, and his brother, and he watched his brother suffer with the consequences of those brain glioblastoma brain cancer that he got from serving in Iraq. Like, let's talk about all the things. So when you think about all of that, yeah, Hunter smoked some weed and did some crack. Okay.
Yes.
He's been through a lot in his life.
He has.
And it's surprising his father hasn't, but his father has obviously a stronger faith.
Well, I'm not even going to say that his father has a stronger faith because at the end of the day,
Child,
you know,
I don't know what that man's faith is.
I don't know what he deals with behind closed doors.
Closed doors, exactly.
You know, but I do think it's very trifling when we look at when we try to make children like. I've heard the sins of the father fall to the children. I ain't heard the sins of the children roll up to the daddy. Nope. And I think it really feels it feels wrong to me that for all, like you said, Hunter Biden has had many reasons to go through some of the things and make some of the choices and decisions that he's made. But those choices and decisions were his. They were not his father's choices and decisions. And the fact that his father is now somehow accountable for the decisions that his grown son made, it is baffling to me. And if you say because he got a job in Ukraine and
he was peddling his last name, and that's what they say.
That's what you're supposed to do. Let me have a child and be successful. That's why I'm mad at Felicity Huffman still. Your daughter didn't get into the college that she wanted to get into. That didn't mean she wasn't going to get into any college. And once she got out of college, she's still your daughter. You could get her last name was going to get her places. Same thing with the Olivia James girl, Aunt Becky daughter. Mm-hmm. That's American as apple pie.
As apple pie. How listen.
So what was he supposed to be like? Oh well, I'm not gonna tell nobody my last name is Biden. Absolutely, he told him that his last name is Biden. If that helps me on a job resume,
And when he was in meetings, he was like, "Hey, I'm gonna call my dad on the phone. Hey, Dad, how you doing?" And he answering the phone because he talking to his son. He just trying to show people he was showing out.
right?
A whole bunch of folks do that. Everybody
I
do
mean, we
that.
had Donald Trump had all his children working in the White House and weren't qualified to pick up trash, and
And
they
had a
did it.
son-in-law who got billions of dollars from Saudi Arabia. Let's talk about it.
And his paw went to jail.
And is it right? Is it wrong? Because see, this is the thing that gets me, and I'm gonna talk about it on this because every now and then I will watch The View. I will watch it in the replay. Let me tell you, Sonny, because Sonny get on there and have the audacity. It's like it's wrong to use your girl. If your children ain't gonna use your name, I don't know who you think or what you think is happening when they go, because your daughter about to graduate and go on to college. But while your son in college, if you don't think if
Her
things
son's
got
at Harvard.
her son's at Harvard, her daughter's still in high school. But I'm
Right, but
just
I'm
saying,
saying her
if she
son's at
don't think
Harvard.
if things get tight, her son ain't dropping a name, sis, stop
Look,
it.
who's how we know he ain't already dropped the name? He's at Harvard. I don't know what kind of grades I'm sure had.
That part.
I don't know
Well,
what
I
they
mean, I
standardized
mean,
test or score look
listen.
like.
Certainly, her and her husband can afford to pay for it, so it didn't
They
matter,
can.
right?
Absolutely.
Ooh, so since we in this politics realm, give me a peach, girl. Mm, 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 mm,
Girl,
mm.
ain't you gonna
And
be a real housewife of Atlanta with your peach? I know.
no,
I'm being silly. I'm being silly.
because I'm talking about we got another peachman going on. Another peachman. I was talking to my father. It's been a few months back. I think we were home, and he was like, shaking his head because they've been talking about this impeachment. The day Joe Biden, the day they were certifying the election, Marjorie Taylor Greene introduced articles of impeachment. Like that's, I'm like, he ain't even been in office yet, so how can he get impeached? How can we do articles of impeachment already, and he ain't even been in office yet? So they've been working on this for a while. So now they're doing their formal impeachment inquiry that they're gonna carry on. And when I was talking to my dad, he was like, we had like 2 impeachments in 200 years.
Right.
And now they just
And
coming.
now they on sale every weekend.
Got
It's like Macy's.
yes.
Just a sale every week. We got impeachments
We
every
got
week.
impeachments for sale.
Every week.
It's absolutely absurd. It's astonishing. It's ridiculous. Yes, girl, they making your teeth itch. They making everything itch. I mean, oh, look, my sister's scratching her head right now. See, telling you, it's ridiculous.
Well,
It's
it is, and it's such a waste of taxpayer dollars, and that's what bothers me. Folks don't want to pay taxes as it is, but then I'm like, y'all complain about paying taxes for stuff that you actually need, like
need
infrastructure and
like the roads,
roads, things like
stop
that.
light,
People
police,
don't want to pay taxes for
hospitals.
that, but we sit around and we allow these government officials to play in our face with our money that they getting, like the government gets this free loan from us all the time to,
Amen.
to use our money, and all we doing is waiting on a refund. I don't want no refund. Let me just zero out, because I don't want to give you more and I don't want you to give me nothing, because you're not giving me nothing. You just returning the money that you borrowed from me to make more money off of. But anyway, so we don't want to pay taxes on things that we actually need.
Mm-hmm.
But we will watch these government officials play in our face with our tax dollars, wasting time and money and not actually addressing the bills that need to be passed, because they spending time on impeachment or what is it, inquiries.
Inquiry. You got Elise Stefanik, who had the audacity, and everybody was talking about all the anti-Semitism on college campuses, and doing that hearing and how she went after those college presidents. You mean the same? Oh, I was about to call her name. The same person who was standing behind Donald Trump when the people marched on Charlottesville and said Jews will not replace us, and she having the audacity to talk about anti-Semitism on a college campus, because that did occur at UVA in Charlottesville. Like, I mean, come on, make it make sense to me. And people keep electing these same fools, and you
Right.
keep listening to people who telling you something to make you feel good about yourself, and lying in your face and playing in your face and telling you it's somebody else is the problem when they are the problem. Stop electing these idiots. Stop it.
We really, really should. I kid you not. In order to be in Congress, you should be required to pass the same test that you have to pass for immigration.
Immigration,
In order to be a
absolutely.
citizen of the United States, you should be required to pass that test. Because at this point,
You know, girl, and not that you saying it, you know how, like, with AKA, how we got to take all these damn classes. If you want to run for office, you got to take all these classes. You got to go to all these conferences to take all of these certifications. They need some classes if you're going to run for office. That's
yeah,
what I think. They need some classes, and they need to start with the Constitution 101. How
right.
about that?
Yes, and like Miss Jody said, and then you're gonna go home. You're gonna waste our tax dollars. You not passed any laws. Like again, can we
And the
get
budget is just on the continuing resolution to January. So
right?
January 17th is still the
Budget hasn't been
government gonna
passed,
shut down.
officially passed. Yeah. So and and I'm still trying to find out when y'all gonna let me not pay these student loans, child. Because
Baby,
I was
you ain't gonna qualify. I know somebody who recently qualified and had them all erased, and they is happy, but they a teacher.
well. Let me go. I'm about to
You might
pick
need to
that
go
up.
teach.
I sure do, and
Move
I need
back
to
home and teach. It
and
might happen for
and
you.
wipe all that out because I don't got time for it. Yeah, I ain't got that much left, but you know what? I'm still tired of the little bit that I got left.
Girl,
But we don't even have time. Y'all don't even have time to talk about it because y'all playing around with the impeachment inquiries. And then, like she said, you're gonna go home and then rest up for the holidays. Then you're gonna be back in January.
they gonna go home and they gonna have all of these little town hall meetings, and nobody gonna call them out on their crap.
Right,
Friendly audiences.
right.
And they gonna sell NFTs like Donald Trump, and y'all gonna go out there and buy them on Etsy. Stop just stop the foolishness. I mean, like, oh my
If
God.
they sell, I mean, I'm not even trying to be funny. But if you're selling NFTs on Etsy,
It's not on Etsy. It's on his website.
even if it's on his website, are they? Girl, I'm gonna have to go look, but I don't want them to start talking to me. So if I go to his webpage, I don't
Well,
want
he's selling NFTs. This is the other thing he's selling. I don't know if you heard this because you was gone, sister. The suit he wore with the mug shot in Georgia, he done cut it up in pieces of cloth and sent it to people.
So he like the man who was selling the holy water
Yes,
at night on BET.
yes, yes.
He done cut up the suit and sent
They
it.
selling pieces of the suit.
I'm still trying to understand: are these real NFTs? Or you just got a picture? Because NFTs are supposed to be like non-fungible tokens, so there's some exclusivity in them.
They're limited edition. They different pictures. They AI generated images of him looking like with an eagle behind him with a big girl. Let me just Google it real
I
fast.
don't want to watch. They gonna come. That's gonna be in your
Let me
search
Google
engine.
it.
It's gonna be in your search
Listen.
engine, and then they gonna keep sending you stuff.
No, let's see. He got a whole bunch of trading cards are plummeting in value. Look, they plummeting in value. Look, Newsweek got a thing 4 days ago.
That's sad. That's sad that you out
Yeah.
here selling everything.
So then clearly you ain't. He's selling pieces of his mug shot suit right now. You understand what I'm saying?
You can't be
That
no
is
real
what's
billionaire
happening.
because Michael Bloomberg would never, honey.
Yes, pieces of the suit. I'm dropping an article for y'all to look. Y'all better get that little 1.99 subscription to the New York Times and be reading this stuff. Child, I be playing my Wordle and everything on the app. Yes, he's selling pieces of his suit.
Okay, well,
How about that?
and the fact of the matter is he gonna make a few $1,000,000 because I wonder how many pieces he gonna cut it into.
Well, they got a lot of material to work with. How about leave that right there? Bloop. A whole lots of material to work with.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Who next?
I'm gonna let you take this one.
What, I don't know. What are you talking about? Run for oh oh little. Listen, hey Rudy, hey. It looks like you're gonna have to pay those sisters that you tarnished their name, and
Rudy ain't got no money,
he
y'all.
ain't got no money. Right. He done had too many wives. He done had the children don't like him. That's just so let me back it up.
We are happy that the sisters received the verdict they received.
Right.
We are happy that the trial was had, but y'all ain't gonna see none of this money. We already know that because it's gonna be appealed and whatever else, and it's gonna take forever. And he might be going to glory before then, child.
Very likely, very likely. I want to get the sisters' names so I can
Ruby Freeman and Shay
okay.
Moss,
Yes, okay. And their mother and
mother and
daughter.
daughter.
And basically he defamed them and became, as they said, they became objects of vitriol, threats, and harassment because of a campaign of malicious lies. And so they were working the election in Georgia, as we know and have clear evidence of. And because the former White House resident was so smart to call
Mhm.
and have his voice recorded,
Mhm.
they were attempting to steal the election by suggesting that um, there was fraud happening, albeit we're calling the the governor and others election officials saying, but I only need 11,000 votes.
Mhm.
Just basically push them 11,000 votes over. And the miraculous thing is, even with that evidence, you still have people suggesting that the Democratic Party is consistently stealing elections through voter fraud and what have you. Well, now tangibly, Rudy Giuliani has been ordered to pay these women, and what is it? 148 million dollars. I mean, I hope them sisters get $5 at this. I mean, I hope they get something. 148 million, I doubt it, because we know how folks do, right? They'll just start filing for bankruptcy, they'll start selling off assets. They'll do whatever they can. I was going to say legally, but it doesn't have to be legally cuz they don't necessarily believe in the law, even
Absolutely.
though they're lawyers and all of this other stuff. But they'll probably try to find ways to circumvent the law in order to not have to pay any of it. And I'm guessing that's what Rudy will do. He will say he doesn't have $148 million, although the whole premise
Well, he's
behind,
supposed to be selling that $6 million apartment in New York. So, honey, I want them to get anything. But
yes,
as
me
as
too.
she said, as Rumi Freeman said, there ain't no amount of money that can make me whole for what you have disrupted my life.
Right. There is no amount of money, but the fact of the matter is, I
It
would be
won't
like,
hurt.
but you got to pay me something, because how do they go? How do they get new jobs?
Mm-hmm.
How do they go back to a quote unquote normal life? How do they do that when they have been the subject of, again, this vitriol and harassment from somebody who is, what movie did I just saw where they had, it was the one with the pain pill, the painkiller movie about
Mm-hmm.
Purdue Pharma,
Mm-hmm.
and Rudy Giuliani helped
Mm-hmm.
them get off as
Yep.
well,
Mm-hmm.
circumvent again paying. uh
Mm-hmm.
so he's trash, and trash individuals will continue to be trash. Like, I want everybody to be clear that even though what happened in 9/11, he stepped in and did things for the city of New York as he should have as the mayor. He was trash before that, and he's been trash since that. And to do things that he's done to these women specifically, these sisters specifically, the lies that he's told. Hell, the Borat movie, where you in
Mhm.
the room with this person who you think is a child, is a teenager, and you're trying to, you're basically sexually assault. You were willing to sexually assault him.
Yeah.
He has demonstrated that whoever y'all thought that the 9/11 mayor was, he's not that guy.
Well, again, I don't know why we exalt people for doing their damn job.
Job. True.
I don't know why he was exalted for doing his job. Like what he did then was what he was supposed to do. And any money that came down and up through to New York through that came through federal dollars because it was a national emergency. I mean, so what did he actually do? That's what
Right.
people need to ask. Just because somebody get on TV and say something to make you feel good, right? They made you feel good. Don't mean they actually did anything.
Right.
So let's say that. And he has also a very shady past
Very.
as a prosecutor. You know, the whole so just look it all up and take it into full context. And I'm not saying that any of us are um not without the
None of us
ability,
are faultless. But then
faultless or
there are just are
flawless,
flawless.
but
But then
there's
there are
evil
some
too.
people, yes, there are some people who pile on, like who are just because even if you remember, even after the 9/11 thing, wasn't he like not divorced yet, but was he had this other woman
Yeah.
that was living with him in the like mayor's mansion that the again taxpayer funded, and you've got this other woman living with you, and
So
just
as
he
we said, none of us are faultless
all flawless.
or flawless. However, if you've made a mistake, you apologize and you learn from it and you don't keep having repeatedly trash behavior.
Yes, and he's had a string of trash behavior. So again, I hope that these women do see some of the money, because at this point in their lives, they have to continue. They're not old women, even their mother daughter. They're not like reaching retirement age necessarily. They still need to live, and I don't know how they do that without this thing hovering over them for the rest of their lives. So I hope they see some 10% of that even,
Well,
because
last week, I'm gonna go ahead and finish your thought,
no,
Miss
I'm
Shirley.
just
Once you're
saying
done.
because they have to live. They have to live.
Yeah, absolutely. So last week in my inbox, I received my um request to come back and be an election worker.
Mm.
I didn't work at all the last election cycle because I am an experienced poll deputy. Just FYI, if y'all did not know, I have worked the polls. Not the poll, but the polls.
The
Okay?
POLLS
POLLS.
versus POLE.
LE. Yes, because I can't work that poll. I'm just letting y'all know. And I got it, and I looked at it and I said, okay, I think I probably will do I'm not gonna do the general election because I was like, my nerves would be too bad for that. But I'll probably do like primary or whatever. And then the Orange County um supervisor of elections announced his retirement. And I said, Bill, your ass. Now I got a second thing. I know the people is qualified and they experienced and they do the training and we do all the things to get ready to work the elections. Mm, but Orange County was tight. And the governor gets to appoint who takes his place.
Oh man. Tell him he can't retire yet.
He is retiring He just said, and I don't know if he's an illness. I don't know if some came up because he's retiring like before,
Not effective immediately, is it?
like the end of this year. That he
Wow.
will not be in for the 2024. I was like, do I want to even go work? I'm gonna just leave that right
I
there.
think it just depends on who's appointed, and we know trash guy is gonna try to put somebody in there who is gonna help benefit his
Who
again
might
Mhm.
have a propensity for
For trash
fraud.
behavior. Yes.
I'm gonna just leave it right there.
Yeah.
Because all the people they accused of fraud didn't do no fraud.
Right.
So he made this big thing. Look, girl, this next story. Whew. So NBC, ABC News did a special on The Brink. It's on Hulu right now. It's a collab. It's a Impact and Nightline kind of special. Rachel Scott, Diane Sawyer. If you have not watched it, we're gonna drop the link in there for you to watch. This is a clip of it. It's on Hulu. So if you have Hulu, go and watch it. This is about the women, not the woman. So the woman in Texas, Kate Cox was her name, who did get a judge in Austin to grant her permission to have an abortion, which is against the state law. And then the attorney general of that state decided to um appeal, and it went before the Texas Supreme Court. And the Texas Supreme Court said no, she couldn't have it. She ultimately left the state to go have this abortion because her uterus is at risk and she wants to have other children. She already is a mother of two. She wants to have another child. And as she said in one of her interviews, she was like, the the thing is, there is no scenario. There is no scenario in this where I leave with a live baby. And why don't, this is the question. Why don't I qualify? Because you said there's exceptions. Why then would you say you're gonna sue my doctors? Anybody who if I took a Uber ride, like why the Uber driver would be held accountable? Why would you do that when I have a non-viable fetus and I'm starting to my I am having all these complications. I've been to the emergency room 4 times. My life is in danger. This on the brink. I think it's like 21 women that they talk to. So you can imagine how many more women in the states in which it has these restrictive bans on abortion whose lives are at risk and in jeopardy because we have we letting these people play in our face again. Women, when y'all gonna rise up, you the majority population, and say you are not legislating health care. You are not legislating my health care. Because if I go to the doctor and this is what my doctor said I need for me to live, that's between us. And let me let whatever treatment my doctor prescribes for me is how I should be treated. So we go to the doctors all the time and we have these choices. Well, this is what you need to do. The medication might cost this much. Well, do my insurance cover it? If my insurance don't cover it, what am I going to do? Well, this is what I might need to do. We make these decisions and choices all the time. But y'all, this decision and choice you want to take away is absolutely absurd. It is maddening. And if you do not go and vote on I want my healthcare decisions to be mine and my doctors, then something wrong with you. And you ain't even got to be a viable, be even gonna have a baby. because I'm not in the stage anymore where I can have any more babies. But guess what? I don't want anybody to suffer like these women have had to suffer, because not only are they suffering the health consequences, now I got to go fight your ass in court, and I'm losing a child that I wanted. Get out my face. I'm so livid, sister.
Well, that program, the piece that I saw will make you live it. I think so. A few things. Number one, as you indicated, they start the piece by saying these are children that were wanted. These are babies that were wanted, right? And I think that we have to center that in the conversation. Unfortunately, but we have to center that in the conversation because we have allowed the conversation around abortion to become a conversation about contraception, to
Mhm,
become a conversation about birth control.
mhm,
And we've allowed people, specifically men, who, if you ask the average man just to name the parts anatomy of a woman, they probably can't. But we've allowed mostly men to make decisions about healthcare matters, but make it about birth control. So they've decided that the only reason that people ever get abortions is because they don't want a child. And that's not true. And so I appreciated that they started the conversation by centering it around the fact that every one of these children was wanted. These women are married. They are, for whatever reason, had not had an opportunity to give birth, and now they were finally pregnant. I've never had a child and I've never had a pregnancy, but this is what I do know from experiencing what I've seen with some of my friends and experiencing. Losing a child is hard enough. It doesn't matter if that's a 6-week fetus or a 50-year-old man who is still your baby, right?
mhm.
Losing a child is hard enough. To couple that with having to go to court to fight for your own life, in addition to the life of your baby, is insane to me. When someone says, when you have people who probably failed every science class they had, or even if they did pass them, you're not a medical doctor, you're not an OBGYN. You don't study this, you haven't studied this. And you haven't even taken into consideration what the choices and decisions that you're saying, the things that you're saying, the laws that you're putting on the books, the things that you're legislating. You haven't even, there's not, as one of the doctors said, there's not enough way. You can't come up with every possible scenario
Mm-mm. No.
because everybody is different.
Mhm,
And so to hear the story of this woman, the sister, going saying, I went to get my hair done because I knew I was going to die in a few days. And I didn't want my mama to have to worry about getting my hair done. That's sick. It's
mhm.
sick that there are people who sit around and can hear these stories and they're not moved by it.
Right, because you have people like Nikki Haley who's still in. Well, it's for the states to decide, and that state and those citizens. They wait. I thought we lived in the United States. Let's talk about that first. And some things don't need to be legislated.
Right. Because
Period.
if I go to the doctor because I have a
If
cyst,
you're having a heart attack,
if I have a heart attack, if I'm having a stroke, if I, hell, if I, whatever, if I, whatever the scenario is, when I go to the doctor's responsibility, the doctor who took the Hippocratic Oath, the doctor who went to medical school, is supposed to make decisions that are in my best interest to do no harm.
Mhm.
And what you're telling them to do is she dead yet? Or is she almost dead? And as the doctors are saying, so when the question is, why don't I qualify? Because you have to be the mother's life. Okay. We can say
There's
we,
exceptions for the
there's
mother's
exceptions
life,
for the
right?
mother's life, but you don't tell me at what point. So is it when she's on the all like 25% of her organs have failed? Is it when she's this lady's like she lost 50% of her blood because she was hemorrhaging? Is that does that now is it time to save my life? Like it's just absurd. And to your point, I don't know why women aren't standing up in this case. And it
And
ain't
they
even
have in other they have
they
in
have
different states where they have put it on the
the
legislation,
ballot.
on the ballot, and it has won. And there's actually a ballot initiative right now trying to get it on the ballot for in the state of Florida. And so that it can be voted upon, and they're almost there 85% of the way to the number of signatures they need for that ballot initiative. And so I need to find that because
It's the
we need it.
ignorance. It just none of it. It's so disheartening because none of it makes sense. You just shared an article with me about Orleans Parish and the rate of STIs and the high rate of teen pregnancy in Orleans Parish. And that in Orleans Parish, you have the choice, right, of whether or not you have sex education classes. They can decide to do it or not do it, right? And so you're thinking about and just when you read the comments on social media, and I probably just need to stop messing with social media. I say that all the time, but when you read the comments on social media and people like, well, it starts with the parents, or the parents need to educate, or the parents need to do this. Well, first of all, ask yourself, when did you have your first conversation about sex with your children? When did your parents talk to you about sex? Were you still calling it a wee wee and a pee pee, or have you even named the anatomical body parts properly? Have you even called them by the proper name? How many times do you believe women when they say that they've been sexually assaulted or sexually harassed? So it's like you don't want to teach sex education in the classrooms. You don't want folks to have birth control of any sort. You don't want to provide free health care. And then when someone is in a situation where they are pregnant and they are losing their baby for whatever reason, their baby is not viable, you want a woman, and it's already, like they said, giving birth, you already got one foot in the grave. Just on that's if everything is going right.
Mhm,
So you want them to almost be to the point of death
mhm.
before doctors are able to intervene. What is wrong with this? This
They
story,
pro-life because they pro-life, sister.
and from the rooter to the tutor, you willing for women to die,
Yep,
but you're pro-life.
yep. Mhm.
You're willing for children who are to not be educated about. You don't want them to talk about their body parts
Mhm.
or how babies are conceived.
Right.
You don't want to provide them with birth control. You make it all the girls' responsibility in the first place.
And we can't have the book in the school. It's not the stork because I want to be over here to have three ways on my own, but you can't have those books in your school.
That it is all of it is infuriating because these are real people and
Yes.
real lives.
Yes.
And these particularly men, likely old white men
And women.
and women, but majority old white men.
Oh no, you gonna see the women who like there was a woman. Y'all go watch this On the Brink. I'm telling you, go watch the whole thing because this woman had the audacity to say we should be giving palliative care to the fetus. We could give palliative care. So you know, palliative care is end of life care. So you want to inject me with some pain medicine to for the fetus while I'm going septic because it's painful for the fetus too. Watch the whole thing. It ain't but 29, it's like 29 minutes, maybe even less.
Well, I think, well, okay, so since you watched the whole thing, my question is, what's the call to action? Because at the end of the day, we can make these films.
So Floridians, I have dropped it in there. If you in Florida, if you are not in Florida, send this to all the people you know in Florida. We need to sign the petition. If they have not signed the petition, if you are a registered voter, sign this petition so that we can get this on the ballot so that it can be voted on by the people. Now we gonna still have to see what because these shady politicians, because in Florida they did pass where they actually will restore felons' rights so that they could vote, but then they legislature went back and changed the laws again and moved the goalpost on their asses one more time. So what I'm saying is we need to do this, and when you get it on the ballot, vote for it so that it can pass, so that it is enshrined into the Florida's constitution, but then also elect some different politicians. That's the call to action. People who actually want to be not legislate health care that they don't know nothing about.
Right.
Because if I need a transplant, that's gonna be the doctor, the transplant organization, whomever else, but it ain't gonna have to go up to no court. I'm not gonna have to go in court. Right? It's just
Right.
stupidity, is audacity, it is hypocrisy, and it's ridiculous.
And the last thing I'll say, and because it's all because you have, in my opinion, at least, you have deplorable people who want you to be here to make more deplorable people. They don't care about your well-being. Because then we would have free health care, right? If we, or at very minimum, we would all be afforded the same health care that these legislators are afforded.
Yeah,
So
we might even have free education all the
we,
way up to at least an associate's degree
right. If you
if we
care,
wanted an educated populace.
right. So it just feels to me like you only see, because here's the thing. It's impacting Black women, but for me, this is about white men wanting white women to create more white men because their numbers have plummeted in terms of births. Fewer white women are giving birth. And they believe, in addition to immigration, in addition to, dare I call it race mixing or what have you, they believe that they are becoming the quote unquote minority. And at the end of the day, all I can say is that perhaps the fear is if we are the minority, maybe they will treat us like we've been treating them. And so that's why there's the fear of becoming a minority. And so we're pushing these antiquated beliefs and laws and making them like to say that you're going to fine a doctor for doing their job, or you're going to send them to jail for trying to save the life of a mother, then this is not about being pro-life. This is about you being afraid of being the minority in this country, the
Yeah.
one that you believe that you built and belongs strictly to you.
Child, we're gonna have to talk more about these dictators around the world also who's trying to make these people have more babies now because all the populations are dropping. But we'll talk about that on another day. Okay, well, we were gonna talk about Running Man, but I think
We got enough time. We gotta talk about Running Man. We gotta talk. There has to be at least a snippet of
well, you go
conversation.
ahead and talk about the Running Man, because let me tell you, the way I saw them track stars, girl, down to the TMZ. I will tell you, Harvey, I don't know how you got all them people working for you, or how you got all them people on the payroll, or all them people you sliding them dollars to on the slick, because baby, they get you all the footage, honey.
Because everybody wants to break the news.
Mm-hmm.
So it ain't
Tell
even
people
about
who Running Man is, sister.
Jonathan Majors. I mean, let's just put it out there.
Mhm.
So I don't know how many of you all have seen the footage, but obviously, Jonathan Major is on trial. He and his ex-girlfriend, let me get this lady's name right. Um, Grace Jabari. She accused him of assault, and this allegedly happened. I guess they had gone out. There was a Uber situation. She accused him of assaulting her, and now they're in court. So of course,
The
TMZ,
jury is deliberating now,
the
so we might get a
jury is
verdict by
deliberation.
Monday.
Yes, the jury is deliberating. But so there's this footage that came out. A few things came out. So first, there was this supposedly Jonathan Majors telling her, this white woman, that he wanted her to act like Coretta Scott King or Michelle Obama, which salacious headlines. Now the audio has actually come out, not quite what the headline suggested, but interesting nonetheless to hear the dialogue between the two of them. And now camera footage has come out from the night in question. And from what I see, it appears that yes, maybe forcefully he was trying to get her back into the Uber, and she did not get out. She got out, and some people say it looks like he pulled something out of her hand and then took off running. I didn't see the pull out of the hand, but I definitely see the track star. And
Got that
again,
baton, got to hand that sucker off. They was like,
one must say that we saw, if for those
see,
who
that's
saw,
how we learned to do it. You hold it like this so you could hand that sucker off. They was track starring out there.
if you saw Creed, you know that Mr. Majors got into some fine physical health in order to portray his role. But Grace clearly ain't no shab when it comes to working out. She's on cardio as well. They look like they ran through the entire city of the.
She had some Allison Felix foot action going on. Cause I was like, is she a heel? Is that a little bit of a pump on the boot? Cause honey, that sister was running.
She was running. She was running. He was running. A lot of running. I'm not really sure.
Through the streets of New York City.
Man, they was all over Manhattan. I mean, it was so many different ring camera, doorbell angles of them just running. And I'm like, in New
And he
York.
wasn't running after her. Let's
Oh
let
yeah,
folks
so
know.
he was running. He took off running, and
He
then she
took off
started running
running.
after
And then
him.
she took off running after him. And I was like, she about caught him.
Yeah. And this is the thing. I just, the thing about New York and New Yorkers, they're very much about them. They be in their own world, they ain't about saying hi too much on the streets. They just be like focused. I get it and I respect it. But I'm like, didn't nobody be like, what the hell y'all running from? Because black people in general,
They wasn't in Harlem, boo.
because if one person take off, we all running. We ain't
And
about to.
Brooklyn is gentrified, baby. So they was like,
Yeah, they was running so much. I was just like, what? So nobody asked any questions. Nobody was like, man, what y'all running from? Let me start running too. Like, I mean, even Forrest Gump had people running with him after a while. So nonetheless, it was a lot of running. That's what I saw. I didn't see a whole lot of assault happening. I saw a lot of running. The Coretta Scott King comment and Michelle Obama comment, I felt like it was taken out of context. Now, should he have had those expectations for that young woman? Probably not. She hasn't had that level of struggle in her life. She hasn't had those experiences that Coretta Scott King and Michelle Obama have had. So therefore, he could not expect her to behave like him. And at the end of the day, Megan Good is still by her man's side. And I just question how long that is going to last after trauma bonding has ended. So that's my thought.
because they say, listen, they got a movie out right now called May December, honey, because they may not be May December, they might be April October. Okay, Megan is dipping into it. She saw the pictures too from
She saw
Creed
the
and Lovecraft.
muscles.
She saw the muscles from Creed and Lovecraft Country, and she said, "Hey, I'm in my 40s. I'm in my prime. Hey, I'm about to get down because he is fine." Hey. I
Okay,
mean, that's all I think. It's what
and what I think. I mean, look, nobody asked my opinion. I just think that Jonathan Majors and Megan Good probably met each other in a space and in a place where she was newly divorced or in the midst of a divorce.
Process.
He was in this relationship where he realized that the woman he's with would never be Michelle Obama or Coretta Scott King, and they found each other at a time where they were both going through a thing, but now he needed to get out of his thing in order to be with Megan. And he was trying to get out of his thing. And Grace said, not on my watch. And if I got to chase you through the streets of Manhattan in a Kitten Hill, I will do that.
And that's what it is. Well, listen, I know we out of time. We're gonna talk about The Color Purple next week, and we'll go into depth. Y'all, they got so many videos and clips and footage about that. I actually went to a pre-screening. It is fabulous. Make sure you make your arrangements. Go on Christmas Day. If you can get to a pre-screening, if anybody in your community and organization is doing, go see it. I loved it. It's a reimagining and it is worthy of your time. And yeah, so I just wanted to put that out there.
No,
As
I
you
look
see,
forward to seeing it.
I'm in my color purple. How about that? Hey, closing remarks, sister.
Just glad to be back. We'll hopefully get my sleep patterns back together here soon. Because I literally slept all day. It
Mhm.
was unfortunate in that regard. But happy to be back. Looking forward to the holidays. I know the holidays aren't always great for a lot of people, and I understand the things associated with the holidays, but I'm looking forward to some time off and just being around people that I love and care about. And that's what's important. So that's where
You
I'm at.
and me must never part, my key. Anyway,
Yes, that part.
love you, sister. I'm glad you're back.
Love
And with
you too,
that,
sister.
y'all, we are signing off. Good night,
Good
everybody.
night.